Dr. Owen Carter's coffee was terrible. The Xenobiology conference panel on cellular protein synthesis had put him to sleep twice, and he was seriously reconsidering his decision to attend Gateway Station 12's annual research symposium. He'd been reviewing presentation notes for 3 hours, and his brain felt like it had been replaced with static. Then she walked into the reception hall, and Owen forgot how to breathe. Dr. Sienna Thelmer. He recognized her from published papers, comparative neurology, synaptic pattern recognition across species, work so brilliant it made his own research look like undergraduate homework. The Valerian were striking in general. Tall, graceful, with those distinctive long ears that could track sounds from 3 rooms away and eyes that shifted color based on neural activity. But Sienna was something else entirely. She moved through the crowd with focused intensity, her long ears sweeping forward and back as she tracked multiple conversations simultaneously. Her eyes were currently violet, concentrated thought, according to the xenobiology texts, and when someone dropped a datapad, she caught it mid-fall with reflexes that seemed impossible. Her eyes flashed from violet to gold as she handed it back, and Owen saw intelligence and humor in that brief color shift. Their eyes met across the reception hall, just for a moment. Owen's heart rate spiked so hard that his medical monitor pinged a warning. His breath caught. His pupils dilated. Every autonomic system his body possessed betrayed exactly what his conscious mind was thinking. Oh no. This is a problem. Sienna's ears snapped forward, locking onto him with laser focus. Her eyes brightened to curious amber. She tilted her head slightly, and Owen watched her expression shift from neutral interest to definite amusement. She'd noticed. Of course she'd noticed. Valerian ears could detect heartbeat changes from 15 meters away, and Owen's cardiovascular system had just announced his interest with all the subtlety of an emergency klaxon. Sienna set down her drink and crossed the reception hall toward him. Owen had approximately 15 seconds to think of something intelligent to say, and he spent them all watching the way her eyes shifted colors and thinking, "I am in so much trouble." "Your cardiac rhythm just increased by 47 beats per minute," Sienna said by way of introduction. Her voice had that harmonic quality Valerian possessed, like multiple notes layered together. "And your pupils dilated approximately 18%. Curious physiological response to watching someone pick up a dropped datapad." Owen knew he should say something smooth, something professional. Instead, what came out was, "Yeah, sorry about that. Turns out I have terrible poker face biology. My cardiovascular system has 0 chill." Sienna's eyes flashed to bright gold Valerian amusement Owen's brain supplied helpfully. "You're Dr. Owen Carter. Your paper on cross-species neurotransmitter compatibility was published last year. Methodology was adequate, conclusions were sound, though you missed some implications about receptor site variations." High praise from Dr. Sienna Thelmer, whose work on synaptic pattern recognition made my research possible in the first place. "I cited you 17 times. I noticed." Her ears tilted forward in that focused way. "You actually read my papers. Most researchers cite without comprehension. Your understanding was thorough." "I read everything you publish," Owen admitted, because his cardiovascular system had already betrayed him, so subterfuge seemed pointless. "Your approach to neural mapping is revolutionary. The way you identify pattern similarities across completely different neural architectures, it's brilliant work. You have been following my research." Not a question. A statement with a slight color shift to curious silver in her eyes. "For about 2 years, yes, professional admiration." Owen paused. "The personal admiration is newer. Started approximately 47 heartbeats ago, according to your count." Sienna's long ears performed a complex movement Owen didn't have reference for, but her eyes stayed that curious silver. "Humans are remarkably direct about attraction. Most species attempt subtlety for at least 3 conversational exchanges. Your biology betrayed you before your conscious mind could engage diplomacy, but instead of deflecting, you confirmed it. Seemed pointless to lie to someone who can literally hear my heartbeat. Plus, dishonesty in xenobiology research is bad practice. Figured it applied to personal interactions too." Owen smiled. "Full disclosure. I've been professionally impressed by you for 2 years. The personal attraction is new, immediate, and apparently very loud according to my cardiac monitoring. Sorry about that. Don't apologize. Sienna's eyes shifted to warm amber. You intrigue me, Dr. Carter. Your cardiovascular system announced your interest before your conscious mind could filter the response. Most refreshingly honest interaction I've had at this conference. Most people spend exhausting amounts of energy pretending chemistry doesn't exist. She paused. Would you like to discuss neurotransmitter compatibility over dinner? The station has a restaurant that accommodates both human and Valyrian dietary requirements. Owen's heart rate spiked again. Sienna's ears twitched, definitely noticing. I would love to discuss neurotransmitter compatibility over dinner, Owen said. Fair warning. My cardiovascular system will probably continue announcing my interest throughout. Subtlety isn't my strong suit today. Good, Sienna said, her eyes flashing gold. I find I prefer honesty. Your biology is remarkably communicative. Makes Valyrian neural activity detection seem subtle. Dinner lasted 4 hours and covered everything from synaptic mapping to the terrible conference coffee to the isolation of being researchers whose work few people truly understood. Owen learned that Sienna had been studying neural patterns for 15 years, that she was brilliant enough to intimidate most colleagues into silence, and that Valyrian culture valued intellectual compatibility over initial physical attraction. Though physical attraction is not irrelevant, Sienna said, her long ears completely relaxed now, something Owen had learned meant she was comfortable, genuinely engaged. Your response to seeing me was, she searched for the human word, flattering. Valyrian courtship typically involves weeks of intellectual evaluation before physiological interest manifests. Your human directness is refreshing. Your cardiovascular system announced immediate attraction, and you didn't attempt to disguise it. My human lack of control over autonomic responses, you mean? That too. Her eyes shifted to warm gold. But you didn't apologize for the attraction after the initial deflection. You acknowledged it and moved forward with conversation. Do you know how rare it is to meet someone who doesn't hide their interest behind 7 layers of professional distance? Owen thought about conferences where he'd carefully maintained neutral expressions around colleagues he found attractive, about the exhausting work of pretending chemistry didn't exist because acknowledging it seemed unprofessional. Yeah, he said quietly, I know exactly what you mean. They talked until the restaurant staff started giving them pointed looks about closing time. When they finally left, Sienna walked beside him through the station corridors, her ears relaxed in that way that meant comfort. Your heartbeat is elevated again, she observed. Approximately 35 beats above your baseline. Spending 4 hours with someone brilliant and beautiful will do that. Valyrian physiology isn't that different. My neural activity has been elevated all evening. You simply can't see it as obviously as I can detect your cardiac response. She paused outside her quarters. I find that I would like to continue this conversation. Tomorrow. And perhaps the day after. Is this something humans do? Continue conversations across multiple meetings? Owen smiled. Humans call it dating. And yes, I would very much like to continue this conversation. Fair warning. My cardiovascular system will continue being extremely obvious about how much I enjoy talking to you. Sienna's eyes brightened to brilliant gold. Good. Consistency of physiological response indicates genuine interest rather than momentary attraction. I will see you tomorrow, Dr. Carter. Try to get some sleep despite your elevated cardiac activity. I'll do my best, Dr. Thelmer, though I make no promises. Owen watched her enter her quarters, and his heart rate stayed elevated the entire walk back to his own. His medical monitor pinged 3 more warnings. He ignored them all and smiled like an idiot. 3 weeks later, Owen and Sienna presented a joint paper at the conference, a combination of their research that neither could have completed alone. The methodology merged human intuitive pattern recognition with Valyrian analytical precision. The results were revolutionary, but the real collaboration happened in the hours between presentations. Late-night discussions about neural pathways, early morning coffee debates about receptor site variations, shared meals where they challenged each other's hypotheses and built better theories together. Valyrian courtship, Owen learned, involved intellectual synchronization. When two Valyrian researchers' thinking patterns aligned, their neural activity literally synchronized, measurable through brain scans, detectable through behavior, the foundation of their concept of compatibility. Sienna showed him the scans from their collaboration sessions. The pattern matching was remarkable. "This is unusual," she admitted, her long ears forward in that intense focus Owen had come to love. Valyrian rarely synchronize with other species. The neural architecture is too different. But your thinking patterns, she gestured at the data, align with mine in ways I've never seen, not even with other Valyrian researchers. Our cognitive approaches complement each other perfectly. Owen studied the synchronized wavelengths, the matching neural firing patterns. What does this mean? In Valyrian terms? In Valyrian terms. Sienna's eyes shifted to deep violet, an emotion Owen hadn't seen before. Profound feeling, the text said. It means compatibility at a fundamental level. Intellectual partnership. The neural basis for what your species might call falling in love, though that phrase doesn't capture the cognitive reality of synchronization. And in human terms? Owen asked quietly. In human terms. What are human terms for this? The moment our eyes met, I fell for you. That's the human version. Immediate, instinctive, probably terrible survival strategy from an evolutionary standpoint. He smiled. But your ears noticed immediately. My cardiovascular system has terrible poker face biology, remember? I noticed, Sienna confirmed. Her eyes stayed that deep violet. I was amused, then intrigued. Now I am. Her ears performed that complex movement, synchronized, connected at a neural level. My cognitive patterns align with yours in ways that suggest long-term compatibility. The Valyrian version of falling, though we approach it through conversation and intellectual engagement rather than immediate eye contact. She moved closer, and Owen's heart rate spiked again. Her ears twitched. Your cardiovascular system is announcing itself again. Being close to you does that, consistently, for 3 weeks now. Good. Consistency indicates genuine attraction rather than momentary interest. Her eyes shifted to warm gold, affection and amusement combined. Valyrian physiology is more subtle than human, but I should inform you, my neural activity increases by 37% when you enter a room. I noticed you before you noticed me at the reception, actually. Your cardiovascular announcement simply confirmed mutual interest. Owen laughed. So we were both doomed from the moment we made eye contact. Doomed is pessimistic phrasing. I prefer inevitably synchronized. Sienna's expression softened, her eyes shifting through colors Owen was learning to read like emotions. In 15 years of research, I have never met someone whose thinking complements mine so perfectly. Who sees patterns I miss, whose questions improve my hypotheses. Human cognitive flexibility combined with Valyrian analytical precision. It is revolutionary, Owen suggested. Exactly. She took his hand, Valyrian fingers longer than human, but the gesture translating perfectly. Your species has a concept called love at first sight. Valyrian have neural recognition, the immediate understanding that another mind will synchronize with yours. When our eyes met, my neural activity indicated recognition. Your cardiac response indicated attraction. Together, we noticed each other immediately and spent 3 weeks proving what our biology already knew, Owen finished. That we're compatible on every level that matters. Neural, intellectual, personal. My cardiovascular system knew it in 47 heartbeats. Your neural patterns knew it just as fast. Adequate summary, Sienna said, her eyes bright gold with affection and amusement. Though I would have included more technical terminology and referenced the synchronization data more thoroughly. Of course you would. That's why we work. Yes, Sienna agreed. That is precisely why we work. Years later, their combined research revolutionized cross-species neurology. Their joint papers became required reading. Universities taught their methodology as the standard for collaborative xenobiology. When asked about their successful partnership, Owen always told the truth. The moment our eyes met, I fell for her. My cardiovascular system betrayed me immediately, loudly, and with zero subtlety. Luckily, she has excellent Valyrian hearing, and decided to investigate rather than flee from the human with the extremely obvious cardiac arrhythmia. Sienna's addition was characteristically precise. His physiological response indicated potential compatibility. 3 weeks of intellectual engagement confirmed it. Human cognitive flexibility pairs optimally with Valerian analytical methodology. Also, his cardiac response when he first saw me was flattering. I have the original biometric data if anyone wishes to review it. Their colleagues laughed, but Owen and Sienna knew the truth. Sometimes the most important scientific discovery isn't about neural pathways or synapses.